Today, I'm gonna show you how to take your avocado tree from looking like this to this, a well-pruned avocado tree that will give you lots of avocados. I've been tricked by this avocado tree. It looks so healthy and happy, but it's misleading. Let me show you what I'm talking about. I had planted this tree 2 years ago, and when I bought it, it was already 5 years old. So this tree is now 7. The first year when I planted it, I got decent growth out of it. And I was expecting this year to get a lot of really good, healthy growth, which I have. The problem is it lied to me. The growth that I'm getting is actually from the rootstock. I didn't notice that there was a shoot that came up from the rootstock and has surpassed the actual tree. And because of that, it's sucking all of the energy out of the main tree that should be getting ready to flower in the next month or two. It's now put all of its energy into the original rootstock and now has grown almost 10 feet in 1 year because this wasn't here last year. So it's time to get rid of this. We want to make sure that all of the energy is being focused on the actual tree variety that I want to grow. And the main variety that this tree is a Lamb Haas, and they're a really good avocado, and that's what I want to grow. I'm not sure of which rootstock that they're using. The new shoot that popped up is even going to produce avocados. The reason why I have a variety of avocado trees is because I want avocados that are ready to be picked and harvested throughout the year. So I need to go ahead and get rid of the rootstock growth that has shot up, so that way all of the energy can be focused on the grafted tree and it can use that energy in growing and producing lots of avocados. If you look closely, you can see where that trunk is coming out of that has the original rootstock growth. Let's go ahead and pull back this mulch so you can see. Here's where we can see the original trunk and the grafted on Lamb Haas branch that has become the trunk. And I can actually see there's 2 limbs. There's the main one that has grown from the ground, and then there's also a side shoot coming off of here. So we need to get rid of both of those. As I look at this, I know that the nursery, they would tie the main trunk to the staking pole, so that way the tree will grow upright and straight. So that is my first indicator that the one behind this post is the one that we want to keep. So now I'm gonna go ahead and look and see what else is here that we can go ahead and get rid of. I'm gonna go ahead and start removing some of these lower branches from the water shoots or side shoots that are coming off that aren't part of the Lamb Haas. I can tell that this branch right here is older because it started to like lignify and it started to become more woody than that fresh green growth. And I know I never got any avocados off of this lower branch. So that's also another good indicator that this can go and that it's also been growing for longer than I thought. I love seeing this tree being healthy and nice and full, but I can't get emotionally attached to it in that sense. Otherwise, I wouldn't prune this and I wouldn't get avocados. And it's a give and take. I want this to produce avocados for me, and that's why I continue to feed it and fertilize it and water it. And it, in return, gives me avocados that I like to eat. We've made some really good progress on this. We've opened up a lot of the bottom, which now lets me see what's going on. And I can go ahead and continue removing a little bit more. So with pruning this off, it's going to allow me to check my watering to see if I can actually tone it back just a little bit, because the tree won't need as much because it's not as big anymore. Now we're starting to get into some of the pruning that's going to make long-term effects to how this tree is going to be. So down here, which I believe is below the graft, I do have a branch coming out. Now the issue is my sprinkler is right here, and I want to make sure that the water is completely covering this area. So I'm going to go ahead and risk removing this branch that could possibly give me avocados because I don't necessarily need it right now. Look at how thick this trunk is from this shoot. This is taking up so much energy that could have gone into the Lamb Haas and given me avocados or had more growth. So now it's definitely time to go ahead and get rid of this. I'm gonna go ahead and use some bigger loppers on this because it is getting thick, and I also wanna remove this one. And you wanna provide as clean of a cut as you can. That way there's no chance of infection or damaging the skin, because avocados have very sensitive skin on their trunks. So with the loppers, I could absolutely cut this at the base, but I would worry about causing it with all the weight to start to crack and split and fall one way. And that would either damage the other main tree, or I would just have an unclean cut at the bottom. And because it's soft wood, I really don't want to risk that. So I'm gonna end up just taking off the top and working my way down. That way I don't damage the other tree. Now that that's gone, I can go ahead and go down to the trunk and remove that, now that I don't have to worry about any weight toppling this over. So I've now removed the trunk, and I cleaned up the other cut that was coming off the side of the main trunk. And then I put back the mulch because I want to protect the roots. And since this tree just got a very heavy pruning, I need to make sure that the soil stays nice and damp. I don't overwater it, I don't underwater it. And I might even just give this a little bit of fertilizer, since we are in winter right now and the days are getting shorter. I don't have to worry about sun scald on this avocado tree. So even with all that extra growth that shot up this year and all of that energy that it took from this tree actually has 2 avocados on it, and they should be ready here in a few months. So I wonder how many fruit would have been on this tree if I would have caught it and I would have removed that extra growth that didn't need to be there. How many avocados would be on this tree, or how much bigger would this tree be on its own? With everything I just cut, I could absolutely shred this up, put it down, and let it just be a nice mulch to help retain the water. But I already put down a lot of wood chips. There's about 6 inches of wood chips here right now. So since I don't need to do that, I'm gonna show you some different things you can do in the next video, like how to turn this into a really nice fertilizer to give back to these trees during the next growing season come March timeframe.